Pleasure and honor to meet you, man.
I'm to meet you too, mate.
Snoop Dogg could not stop fanboying over Chris Hemsworth, and Nicki Minaj literally dropped to her knees for Lauryn Hill.
No, please.
If legends like them can lose it, imagine how overwhelming these moments must be. Let us have a look at more jaw-dropping moments when celebrities meet their biggest idols, awkward, emotional, and completely unfiltered. Snoop Dogg cannot hide his excitement. Meeting Thor. Snoop Dogg is a legend, but even legends get starstruck. When he met Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor, he could not hold back his excitement. His face lit up with a big smile, and he started punching the air to show how happy he was. He kept calling Hemsworth Thor and was clearly amazed to see him in person. They both exchanged kind words, saying they were honored and pleased to meet each other.
Pleasure and honor to meet you, man.
I'm to meet you too, mate.
To make the moment even more special, Snoop gave him a special gift. Kevin Hart gets emotional meeting Michael Jackson. Before this, Kevin Hart had described Michael Jackson as the greatest entertainer of all time. He often mentioned that he attempted to imitate the dance moves of Jackson during his childhood. When Hart saw Jackson, he completely lost his composure. He repeatedly shouted the name of Jackson. His face displayed genuine shock. Tears rolled down his face. He pointed at Jackson, unable to believe it. His energy was wild, and the camera shook with excitement. Hart kept shouting, too overwhelmed to stop. In the end, he closed his eyes, trying to calm down, but he was still shaking with emotion. Nicki Minaj kneels for Lauryn Hill. Nicki Minaj finally met her biggest inspiration, Lauryn Hill, after a title benefit show. The moment she saw Lauryn, she could not control her emotions. She dropped to her knees and looked up in pure admiration. Tears filled her eyes as she tried to speak.
No, please.
She told Lauryn how much she loved her and how much she meant to her. Nicki even shared that she had quoted Lauryn in her high school yearbook. She was shaking with excitement, calling it the best moment of her life.
I'm in love with you. I'm in love with your spirit.
Diane Keaton's surprise meeting with Justin Bieber. Diane Keaton appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show, dancing onto the stage and hugging Ellen. They laughed, sipped wine, and joked about Ellen not inviting her over. Ellen then mentioned Bieber Week, and face of Diane lit up as she admitted she liked Justin Bieber.
Excited that it's Bieber Week? Oh, yeah. I like that boy.
Suddenly, Bieber walked out from backstage. Diane gasped and leaped from her chair. She rushed to him and hugged him tightly. Bieber kissed her cheek, making her even more thrilled. Ellen then presented Diane with 2 sweatshirts, one with a turtleneck and another with "I Heart Bieber" printed on it. Diane laughed as Ellen asked which one she would wear next time. Still excited, Diane pulled herself together and joked about whether she had a real chance with Bieber. The moment was full of laughter, surprise, and pure joy.
Okay, let's get real here. I mean, that's real beauty.
Shocked reaction of Taylor Swift to Justin Timberlake. Taylor Swift had no idea what was about to happen. She thought it was just another interview with Ellen, but Ellen had a big surprise waiting for her. Before the show, Taylor was kept away from the backstage area. She had no idea that Justin Timberlake was present. When Ellen introduced him and he walked onto the stage, the jaw of Taylor dropped.
Justin!
She appeared completely shocked. She covered her mouth and gasped. Her eyes were wide as she tried to process what was happening. She stood up and laughed nervously. It was clear she was fangirling over him. Justin greeted her with a big smile. He told her she had an amazing voice. Taylor was still in disbelief. She told him she was freaking out. The audience cheered, loving the moment.
Your album is out?
Yes, apparently. I don't remember it.
Taylor mentioned that they had met before, but Justin jokingly said it was for only a brief second. They both laughed and shared a fun conversation. Their admiration for each other was clear. Sebastian Stan tries to kiss Sharon Stone. Sebastian Stan was very excited to meet Sharon Stone. As they sat together for an interview, the energy between them was clear. He told her he had waited many years for this moment. Sharon smiled and thanked him. Both said they were honored and pleased to meet each other. Sebastian could not stop praising her. He said she looked amazing and that he had admired her for a long time. Sharon laughed and blushed. They held hands while talking.
Thank you for this tonight. You're so kind.
Then Sebastian did something surprising. He leaned in and tried to kiss Sharon. She looked shocked but quickly laughed. She made the moment fun instead of awkward. Later, someone asked Sebastian how he would ask Sharon out in Romanian. His answer was bold and funny. Sharon was surprised and laughed, asking what was happening.
God, you're really sticking with this, aren't you? Why not? Yeah, this is the time. 100.
They also looked at old photos of Sebastian. Sharon teased him about his hairstyle. Sebastian laughed and said he always had trouble with his hair. They joked and enjoyed talking. Camila Cabello cried after meeting Ed Sheeran. In an interview, Camila Cabello shared a moment that made her completely starstruck. She revealed that meeting Ed Sheeran for the first time was so overwhelming that she ended up crying. She explained that it happened at an awards show.
Cried when I met Ed Sheeran. I'm not sure if that was the first time, but it was definitely one of the first times. I met him at an awards show.
She saw Ed and finally got the chance to meet him. She was beyond excited but tried to stay calm. They talked for a moment, and he was as kind as she had always imagined. However, as soon as the conversation ended, all her emotions hit her at once. She rushed to the bathroom and started crying.
At an awards show, and I literally met him and went to the bathroom and proceeded to sob.
Kristen Bell awkward but sweet fan moment. Kristen Bell sat next to Jason Momoa on a talk show, trying to stay calm. The host revealed that she was a huge fan of his role as Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones. Kristen smiled and shared that she and her husband once dressed as Khaleesi and Khal Drogo for Halloween.
My husband and I in tank tops that said Stark in the streets, wildling in the sheets, covered in like Baratheon tattoos.
She was clearly excited, but tried to act normal. Jason Momoa laughed and thanked her for the love. Then he gently touched her shoulder. Kristen gasped and looked shocked, making everyone laugh. Her reaction was a mix of shock and joy, making it a moment she would never forget. Muhammad Ali meets Mike Tyson and jokes about him. Muhammad Ali was sitting on a talk show, looking calm and relaxed. He had no idea a big surprise was about to happen. The host suddenly called for some special guests to come out. Ali looked curious and asked if this was a surprise.
This is a surprise.
Then Mike Tyson walked onto the stage with his friend. Tyson wore a stylish outfit, and the crowd immediately erupted in loud cheers. Ali stood up as soon as he saw him. Ali and Tyson shared a warm hug and exchanged handshakes. Ali also greeted the friend of Tyson with a smile. The audience was ecstatic, capturing the legendary moment through their cameras. As they all settled into their seats, the host noticed the expression of Ali and inquired about what was troubling him. Ali, wearing a playful smile, hesitated before joking that he felt genuinely afraid of Tyson. The host laughed and said Tyson was really a sweetheart.
I'm scared of him.
You're scared of this one? He's a sweetheart.
Tyson chuckled and Ali continued to smile. The room was filled with laughter, making the moment unforgettable for everyone watching. Adele blushes meeting The Rock at the Grammys. Adele has been a fan of The Rock since she was young. At the Grammys, she finally got to meet him in a big surprise. While hosting, Trevor Noah walked through the crowd and stopped at table of Adele. He said he had someone special for her. Adele looked surprised and grabbed her boyfriend's shoulder.
The Rock? Adele meet The Rock?
Then Dwayne Johnson appeared with a big smile. Adele stood up quickly, looking emotional and excited. The two shared a warm hug and kissed each other on the cheek. They both said they were honored and pleased to meet.
Adele meet The Rock meet Adele. First time ever.
Adele could not stop smiling and blushing. The moment went viral as fans loved seeing her reaction. Later in the night, The Rock made the moment even more special. He walked on stage and presented Adele with an award. Tom Holland awkward first meeting with RDJ. Tom Holland shared a funny story about his first meeting with Robert Downey Jr. He was in Atlanta for his screen test for Captain America, Civil War. Just before the audition, he was told that Robert would be joining him. A helicopter arrived and Robert stepped out. Tom was already nervous. He wanted to make a good impression.
On cue, a helicopter flew down and Robert got out and came for his audition.
He walked into the audition room and saw Robert standing there. He quickly went up to shake his hand. He introduced himself and tried to stay calm, but something felt off. As Tom looked at Robert, he thought he looked different from how he appeared on camera. He started wondering if they had changed his face in movies.
I shake his hand, nice to meet you, and I'm starting to panic, right? I'm like, oh my God, it's Robert Downey Jr.
Then the real Robert entered the room. Tom froze in shock. He realized that he had been speaking with the stunt double of Robert the entire time. Luckily, this mistake helped him. He had already gone through his nervous introduction with the stunt double. When he finally met Robert, he felt much more relaxed.
So I got my nervous, jittery stuff out of the way with Glenn and then met Robert afterwards. Oh my God.
Ice show Speed finally meets Cristiano Ronaldo. Speed has been chasing this moment for a long time. He attended many matches but never got the chance to meet Ronaldo. On June 17, 2023, after the match of Portugal against Bosnia and Herzegovina, Show Speed waited outside the stadium with the hope of meeting his idol. Rafael Leao noticed Speed and paused to greet him. Leao then halted the car of Ronaldo to allow Speed to meet him. Ronaldo stepped out, and Speed could not control his excitement.
Oh my God, Ronaldo! Oh my God, take a picture.
He was very emotional. They talked for a short time. Speed told Ronaldo how much he admired him. He showed him a tattoo of Ronaldo on his arm. Before leaving, they did the famous shoe celebration together.
Ronaldo, sweet. We do the sweet. I love you, bro.
Speed was still emotional after Ronaldo left. Later, he posted pictures on Twitter. His post got over 1 million likes. Cristiano Ronaldo and Conor McGregor face-off. Cristiano Ronaldo was on holiday in Las Vegas after winning Euro 2016. He decided to visit Conor McGregor at his UFC training camp. McGregor greeted Ronaldo with a big smile, a handshake, and a hug.
My good man. Good to see you. Nice to see you. You good? You came late.
They chatted about training, hard work, and upcoming events. Ronaldo mentioned arriving in LA and a birthday party for Jennifer Lopez. McGregor joked and asked if they were invited. Then they stepped into the octagon for a playful face-off. They posed for a dramatic fight photo, showing off their athletic physiques. The meetup ended with laughs and mutual respect between two champions.
I'm gonna leave tomorrow for LA.
What's it? Jennifer Lopez's birthday party?
Yeah, but today.
It's a hard life.
Chris Evans meets his icon, The Rock. Chris Evans finally met Dwayne The Rock Johnson, someone he had admired for years. As soon as they saw each other, they exchanged a big hug. Chris was wearing a sash that said "Sexiest Man Alive," and he joked that it felt special to get approval from a past title holder.
It means a lot. It means a lot coming from the former sexiest man alive.
Dwayne looked confused and asked what he meant. Chris thanked him for the support, but Dwayne was not ready to give up the title so easily. Chris reminded him that he was named Sexiest Man Alive in 2016. Dwayne smiled and said he still held the title forever.
Weren't you sexiest man alive in 2016?
I'm sexiest man alive in perpetuity, which means for life.
Chris looked surprised and asked if that was even possible. Dwayne playfully asked if he was still alive, and Chris said yes. Then Dwayne asked if he was still sexy. Chris laughed and agreed. Dwayne then decided they would share the title.
We're sharing.
We're gonna share it.
We're sharing it. All right. Are you ready?
I'll take it.
Chris nodded, playing along with the fun moment. Dwayne challenged Chris to say something sexy. Chris thought for a moment and then confidently said, "Go vote tomorrow." Dwayne nodded in approval and called it sexy.
Last thing. Say something sexy.
Go vote tomorrow.
Francis Ngannou almost misses Eminem. At a gala before his fight with Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou nearly walked past Eminem without noticing him. The rapper stood nearby, waiting for a greeting, but Ngannou did not seem to recognize him. An official quickly tapped Ngannou on the shoulder and pointed toward Eminem. Realizing his mistake, Ngannou turned back, smiled, and rushed to greet the rapper. They shared a brief moment and posed for a picture. The situation felt a little awkward, and those around them looked tense for a moment. However, the meeting ended on a friendly note, with Ngannou and Eminem sharing a respectful exchange. The Rock met his action hero, Arnold Schwarzenegger. In 1999, The Rock and Arnold Schwarzenegger met for the first time. At the time, The Rock was a rising star in wrestling, while Arnold was already a Hollywood legend. Their meeting was filled with energy, mutual respect, and a bit of humor. The Rock walked up to Arnold with excitement. He greeted him with enthusiasm, clearly thrilled to meet one of his biggest inspirations. Arnold responded warmly, shaking his hand with a big smile. There was instant respect between them.
Terrific, thank you. It's good to see you. Good to see you too.
The Rock praised movies of Arnold, saying he had seen all of them. He even mentioned new film of Arnold End of Days, showing that he was keeping up with his work. At the same time, The Rock brought up his WWE storyline.
Come out, End of Days. As a matter of fact, The Rock's seen all of your films. As a matter of fact, this Sunday for that jabroni Triple H, it might be the End of Days for him.
Connecting the title of film of Arnold to his upcoming wrestling match. They shook hands again, both smiling, showing that they had formed an instant bond. The Rock, a wrestling superstar on his way to Hollywood, met the man who had already paved the way. Donald Trump finally meets the man he once admired. Before entering politics, Donald Trump had expressed admiration for Barack Obama, describing him as strong and inspiring. He once mentioned that the presidency of Obama was beneficial for the country. Now the two finally sit across from one another in the Oval Office, surrounded by cameras. Obama speaks first, explaining that they had a productive discussion about the White House and significant policies. He states that his primary goal is to assist Trump in transitioning smoothly.
Try to facilitate a transition that ensures our president-elect is successful.
When Trump speaks, he surprises many. He acknowledges that they had never met before and expresses great respect for Obama. He shares that their meeting was initially intended to be brief, but he enjoyed it so much that it lasted considerably longer.
Almost an hour and a half, and it could have, as far as I'm concerned, it could have gone on for a lot longer.
Trump also recognizes the accomplishments of Obama and mentions that he looks forward to seeking his guidance in the future. The two exchange a handshake, and Obama humorously remarks to Trump about ignoring the questions of the reporters. They share a small smile before concluding the meeting.
Here's a good rule. Don't answer the questions when they just start yelling at you. Come on, guys.
Adam Scott finally meets his childhood hero. During an interview on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Adam Scott talked about how much he loved Star Wars as a kid. He shared that he had even written a letter inviting Mark Hamill to his birthday party. Suddenly, the Star Wars theme started playing. Scott looked around, confused but excited. Lights dimmed, and tiny lights twinkled like stars. Then Mark Hamill walked out holding a green lightsaber. The crowd cheered loudly. Scott covered his face in shock. He was completely speechless. Hamill walked up to him and gently tapped his shoulder with the lightsaber, pretending to knight him as a Jedi. Scott laughed and shook his head in disbelief. Hamill smiled and gave him a warm hug. Then he jokingly apologized for missing his childhood birthday party. He said he had 2 other birthday parties to attend that day, and even a supermarket opening. The moment was full of laughter, excitement, and nostalgia.
This is unbelievable.
I'm sorry I missed your birthday.
Emma Stone could not hide her meeting the Spice Girls' excitement. Emma Stone had always been a huge fan of the Spice Girls. She had talked about them in many interviews and even cried when she got a video message from Mel B on the Graham Norton show. Emma was chatting and laughing with the host. Norton asked if she had ever met a Spice Girl in person. She paused and said no.
But you're telling me you've never met a Spice Girl?
Are you going to do something right
Have
now?
you never met a Spice Girl?
Then Norton hinted at a surprise. Emma turned her head, expecting something. Her eyes went wide. She gasped and quickly covered her face with both hands. She looked emotional, trying to process what was happening.
So, they're not here.
Jennifer Lawrence freaks out over Matt Damon. Jennifer Lawrence had praised Matt Damon in interviews, calling him one of the coolest actors and saying she grew up watching his movies. At the Golden Globes, Jennifer was giving an interview. She was laughing and joking about her dress. Suddenly, she spotted Matt Damon nearby. Her eyes widened, and she gasped loudly. She shouted, "Matt Damon is behind us. This is not a drill." Her excitement was clear.
Matt Damon is behind us. This is not a drill. This is not a drill.
Matt Damon looked amused as he noticed her reaction. Jennifer quickly tried to act calm. She smiled and told him she loved his movie.
Hi.
Crossing networks right now. Something weird about that.
From happy tears to hilarious fails, these moments prove even celebs have idols. Which reaction surprised you the most? Comment below and make sure to subscribe for more epic moments.